Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar on video surveillance on behalf of the Nordstar Group, Hitachi, Backup Technology. I'd like to say good afternoon or good morning or good evening, whatever might be appropriate for where you are. And again, thank you for joining us. So let's see if this works. 1, 4, 3. There we go. Here's what we're going to cover today. I'll take you through who's going to present and what they're presenting. We'll talk about why video surveillance, the storage requirements that get generated when you deploy a network of cameras, storage solutions to keep that footage on, tools that you can use to analyze the footage, and then backing up that footage, how you might want to accomplish that. All important stuff. The folks who will be presenting today, I already introduced myself. I'm with the Nordstar Group. Fabian Mendez is a territory account manager at Hitachi, and he will be talking about their storage solutions. Camilla Weisinger is another territory account manager from Hitachi, and she will be covering Hitachi's analytical tools. Mike Colsante is the CEO of Backup Technology, and he's going to talk about backup, believe it or not, whether it be on-prem in a hybrid environment or a cloud environment, and how they can help you out with your backups. So a little more background on each of our companies. Like I said, I am with the Nordstar Group. We've been in business since 2009, and we have a very customer-centric approach to business, trying to find appropriate solutions for our customers. We've been rather successful at that. We have a good core group of customers that keep coming back to us year after year for solutions. And we try to conduct ourselves with creativity, honesty, and integrity. And we want to deliver consistent and effective solutions for all of our valued customers. And if you're a customer, you're a valued customer. Hitachi Vantara, they are big company, 95th on the Fortune Global 500. Hitachi solutions are deployed in 81% of the Fortune Global 500. And they're not only a provider, but a leader in the mid and high range computer data storage systems. They have solutions that will help you with risk management, AI solutions, digital operations, smart city, and multi-cloud acceleration. You'll hear more about almost all of those from Fabian and Camilla. And then last but not least, Mike from, whoops, I went too far, I'm sorry. Mike from Backup Technology. They've been in business since the early 2000s. They're a worldwide company, 300 technicians around the globe. They, like I mentioned, offer backup solutions, be it on-prem, be it hybrid, be it cloud only. So they are willing and quite capable of helping you solve your backup technology needs. So let's get started. So why do video surveillance and analytics? And there's a lot of good reasons for that. Customer service is one. So on your web page, you might post videos of product demos and solutions. In a retail environment, someone may monitor checkout queues in a grocery store, for example. And if people are waiting in checkout queues 3, 4, 5 or more deep, maybe you need to open up another cash register or two. Business intelligence. And when I say product positioning, I'm referring to, again, in a retail environment, where and how do you position your products? Do you put the chips next to the salsa? Do you put them on the top shelf, the bottom shelf? Do you put the ties next to the dress shirts over in the suit department? How do you arrange your product positioning? Improve processes in a manufacturing environment. You might notice bottlenecks in a production or assembly line type of environment. So how do you say video monitoring of the factory floor might help you solve production bottlenecks? Injury prevention. How are you positioning parts and tools for your folks to get them? And of course, video footage can always be used in training how to, how many of us have used YouTube to look up a video on how to do something, maybe changing something on one of our vehicles, right? It's a great resource. Security, very prevalent usage for video. Deterrence, if a criminal or someone with ill intent is approaching your facility or your campus and they notice that you've got surveillance cameras all over the place, that may change their minds about what they were planning to do. Incident investigation, if something should happen and you've got good coverage with that camera network, there's a good chance you'll be able to go back and see exactly what happened. Facility monitoring, what's happening around my campus, what's going on in the factory, what's going on in the store. And then facial recognition. I read an interesting article just after the holidays. In New York City, the Radio City Music Hall runs a big Christmas show. They do afternoon matinees and evening performances throughout the holidays. And this lady was taking her daughter's Girl Scout troop to one of the afternoon matinees, and they wouldn't let her in. Well, it turns out she's an attorney for a law firm that was involved in litigation against the Radio City Music Hall, and their facial recognition software, they had obviously gotten her image from somewhere, but they would not let her into the facility. And it was all based on the facial recognition capability of the camera network and the tools they had deployed. So something else to consider when you're doing video surveillance is, do I have to keep what I collect? And the Texas Education Code says if you're recording in a classroom, you have to keep it for at least 3 months. Different states, different cities, different locations may have differing requirements. And it also can depend on what sector you operate in. Are you education? Are you gambling or gaming, as they call it? Actually, there are specific, in some states, requirements for the cannabis industry to monitor and keep video footage. And then how long you have to keep it before you can let it go. So you're collecting all this data, all this footage, and you're collecting a lot of footage. If you look at the chart, in one day with a camera, you can collect 20 gigabytes of information. And then if you have a network of cameras, it really adds up. And variables like, besides the number of cameras, what resolution you're recording at, 4K is one standard. How many frames per second are you recording at? It can really increase the amount of storage you need. If you look at the verbiage on the chart there, and depending on what type of compression you're using, you may be recording it at 10 times as much as something that's with a little less resolution. So the question becomes, all right, I'm getting all this data. Where am I going to keep it? Because you got to keep it somewhere. And that's where Fabian is going to fill in the blanks on that one. So Fabian, the floor is yours.
Perfect. I can take it from there.
All right.
I am going to move on to the presentation, which we're going to start with Hitachi. Again, I am a territory account manager here for Hitachi Vantara, located in the Texas area, specifically Houston. And what we see on screen right now is a little bit of what is Hitachi. A lot of folks are not entirely familiar with what we do. Frank did mention that we are a large organization, but to give you guys some context, it's truly a legendary company with more than 100 years of experience in a variety of industries. We've got about 900 companies, and that changes on a monthly basis normally. But these companies operate in a multitude of industries, that be healthcare, construction, technology, energy, you name it, education. It's literally a little bit of everything, all the way to consumer goods. So with that experience, we've learned how to connect the dots between all of these 900 companies and provide specific technology to the challenges that those 900 companies might need, and specific challenges that we face on specific industries that others might not know. Because of this partnership and this work together mentality, we can deliver solutions to those special needs of some of our organizations, which are very similar to customers out there and possibly your organizations today. That's what makes us more like you than every other vendor out there, essentially. We operate with more than $3.5 billion in research and development investments on an annual basis, large number of individuals, but we don't do this by ourselves. We've got over 15,000 global partners across the multiple companies. And what we're here to speak about today is technology, which is the IT sector of Hitachi, which we call Hitachi Vantara. We've got more than 60 years of IT providing that best of breed technology to our companies and working together with them to bring solutions for our organizations and also for customers out there in the industry. So with that being said, I want to move on to our next slide, which is going to be all about data. We're here to deliver more agility out of your data so that your business can be taken to the next level. We can't do this by ourselves. We do this with a number of partners that are very well recognized in the industry. We are VMware's biggest bet partner. We're also one of Brocade's top resellers in the entire world. So this has allowed us to provide protection to customers and prospects throughout these past few years when the supply chain challenges and the pandemic effects have affected availability of products. We've got a lot of these products in store today and can help customers with those needs in a matter that others simply can't. And that's because we're a true manufacturer, because we carry stock of a lot of these items, and we can essentially get customers out of a pinch with a lot of the partners that you see up on screen that we work with day in and day out. But that's not it. Beyond that, we've got an even greater ecosystem of partners and technologies that we work with on a variety of industries, again, because we know you work with these day in and day out. But what we present to our customers is essentially a data platform that is based on a three-prong approach: services, solutions, and products. We're going to help you modernize your digital core inside and out through our services, accelerate that digital innovation, and do that with solutions that we've been pioneering over a number of years. So think of IoT, bringing those edge devices, that information that lives all the way out on the edge, getting it connected to your infrastructure today so you have more actionable data to make those smarter decisions about where products should be placed, what's the best options and methodologies that we have in place to deter theft, you name it, smart spaces, which is the video intelligence aspect, and the camera devices that we can deploy. And I have a team member that's going to talk a little bit more about that later on, but all of this can be essentially deployed with our Lumada data platform to further more insights and enrich the data that you're collecting from the edge. All of this lives in a foundation, which is our products. Our products are essentially hardware infrastructure products that you can deploy in a traditional 3-to-1 conversation with storage. And we also have storage stories around the hyperconverged strategies, cloud native connectivity, you name it. If that's a hybrid cloud, if it's a private cloud, even if it's a traditional on-prem deployment based on security needs, we can work with those. And again, using one of those 900 companies here to the right, we see Everflex. This allows us to facilitate consumption of all of these products, solutions, and services in a very simple and flexible manner through the use of Hitachi Capital, another one of our 900 companies, allowing us to partner within our organizations to deliver better products to our customers today. We do this with our Hitachi VSP family, which is essentially the storage platforms that we offer to our customers. We've got everything from mid-market to large enterprise options out there. Features that I really want to point out that exist across all of these are active architecture for all of these. That means you're truly using everything that you're paying for, which is different to some of the vendors that are out there where you're only getting to use one of those controllers while the other one is sitting dormant. You get to use everything you're paying for with us. We can extend the life of some assets with storage virtualization. I'll dive deeper into this in the next slide so that we get a better understanding of what that means. But in today's world, what we want is consistency. What customers want, what management wants is consistency. That data needs to be there whenever you need it, especially in those times of need. And our 8 nines 100% data availability guarantee allows us to ensure that you have access to your data, again, day in, day out. It's a nonstop 24/7, 365 guarantee that we provide to our customers. But beyond that, this is not just great features that come with a high price tag. That we can offer some of the best pricing you can find out there for SSDs, which is storage media, and also hard drives, spinning drives. When you think about Hitachi, because of that manufacturer status, we really bring it down all the way to the nuts and bolts, and we make sure that cost savings are passed over to customers. But I know some of us like to dive into speeds and feeds. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide, but to look at some of the smaller participants of our strategy, you've got the G350 all the way to the left with 600,000 IOPS and up to 3 petabytes raw capacity that it can manage. But then you got all the way to the right, the big boy in the team, which is the VSB 5000 series. And this, some people can say that it can run a small country. 33 million IOPS and up to 69 petabytes when fully configured. That's just to show you the power and the scalability of some of these systems that could be deployed for our customers. Everything running in a common operating system, which allow customers to deploy really whatever they need, depending on the projects, the sites they're trying to service. Throughout everything, you're going to find commonality so that it's easy for you and your team to continue to operate in an agile manner. Everything's backed by our guarantees. There's a 4-to-1 data reduction guarantee that we have on all of our arrays, and 100% data availability guarantee that I mentioned earlier. And these are not just up in the screen, they are guarantees with written contracts behind them. You will get your data 100% of the time. If that's not the case, there's actually some contract remuneration that will happen, and we'll get you either funds to cover your challenges experienced or the right gear needed to support that. But this basically never happens. That's why we're so comfortable in providing this guarantee, because of the amount of redundancy that we've built into the architecture of our platforms. Everything can be extended with our modern storage assurance, which is all the way to the right. This is a program that essentially allows you to grab your storage and eliminate migration cost, migrate into best latest technology at a given point in time in the future, so that your next refresh comes in at a lower cost when looking at a total cost of ownership. Eliminate that uncertainty of what is the cost of continuing to grow in the future. Maintain that control over your budget so that you can focus on what's important for your organization today and tomorrow. Again, some of the features in the 5000 series, which is the high enterprise version of our storage, world's fastest enterprise out there, most scalable. You can start with 2 controllers and scale all the way to 12. But what I really want us to focus in is, again, the 8 nines availability. This is going to be a rock solid array that will never fail and can really do it all. But again, offering that very cost-effective, flexible media in terms of storage possibilities. Those benefits migrate and cascade all the way down to our virtual storage platform, E-Series. This is the mid-range play for us. Again, all the benefits are here. You can still have that public cloud, hybrid cloud ability and integration. You can extend the life of the assets with modern storage assurance, the same 100% data availability guarantee, and all of this without adding complexity whenever you scale out your architecture. That is what Hitachi Vantara brings to the table. So you can really have the power to choose everything and anything in the menu, get some combinations going so that everybody gets their needs serviced. And if there's future growth, we can definitely address that and continue to expand maybe a baseline deployment you started with. But we also have other products in our storage portfolio. This is what we call the Hitachi Content Platform portfolio. It's HCP for short, and we can address several aspects with this portfolio. These are object stores, some file capabilities. Think of cloud native apps writing to our storage. Also, next generation file services with the sync and share that we call HCP Anywhere. Very similar to what you would get with Google Docs, but in a more private, secure way for those internal sensitive needs that your organization might have. And then you've got workload optimization, which can truly help you with projects that might need storage to be scaling independently from compute, some very specialized applications. And then also tying into backup, which we're going to talk to a little bit later with Mike's presentation. It's backing up to object. This is going to be very good when you're thinking about long-term retention, some tape replacement, dedupes, things of that nature, but it will also allow you to have fast restore and recall for that data that you, management, or maybe even the regulations require you to have quick access to. This is a little bit more of that portfolio. Some of the products that truly live within it, the Hitachi Content portfolio, which is the storage side of the house, having a conversation around private and hybrid cloud. You've got HCP Anywhere, which I mentioned is the privatized version of Google Docs that allows you to truly have security around your needs in a very private cloud environment, and files that can be uploaded into the system are up to 2 terabytes. So very, very good capabilities within the files that you can upload and manage within your team. Beyond that, we also have content intelligence, which allows you to have a easier, faster way to drive through the huge amounts of data that we're generating today. I think Frank mentioned 4K cameras and frame rates that some of these cameras record. I mean, the data is huge. It was not too long ago that we had cameras with, 4 megapixels on our phones. Now it's 12, 20 megapixels, 3 cameras on a phone. You know, all of that data lives somewhere, and we need to find ways to access the right data in a quick manner. These are some of the products that can help us access those very, very swiftly. There's traditional use cases, like I mentioned, backup, retention, archiving, but there's also some more modern use cases, like it is deployed when trying to perform high performance workloads, search and analytics, and big data optimization. But coming back to some of the biggest benefits that we offer at Hitachi, this is actually something we pioneered about 20 years ago, which is storage virtualization. So just like VMware virtualizes a lot in our environment, we're virtualizing purely storage. So what does that mean? You know, a lot of vendors out there present their storage, that'd be Dell, HP, Pure, and others out there. You've got your storage. If you want to realize all the benefits that we bring to the table, you need to essentially wipe out your investment in other vendors and extend your investment with Dell. It needs to be all Dell, or it needs to be all Pure. We are a vendor agnostic. We do not follow that line. It's more of, hey, if you've got this investment and you need to extend them, you can't retire them just now. We can bring in our Hitachi technology grab all of those existing investments, pull those resources all into Hitachi, and layer a Hitachi layer of benefits on top of everything, providing a single pane of glass from the Hitachi perspective to manage all of these arrays. And you're basically bringing yesterday's budget into today's technology. And you can further that even more if you combine it with third-party support that we also offer at some very, very competitive rates because of our manufacturer status, where we can possibly extend the life of an asset that's already expired with Dell, with Pure, with HP, or whoever's out there. Extend that life, bring in all the benefits that a latest generation Hitachi array can bring to the table, continue to leverage all of those and give you back control of your budget so that you can focus on what's important to your organization today and have bigger input on when you get to retire these assets moving forward. Beyond that, we also have a hyperconverged strategy. This is our hyperconverged story. These are products that we've actually co-engineered with a lot of our partners. The ones you see on the right are actually some of our strongest partners that we work with this specific platform. But I want us to really focus on VMware. VMware is our strongest partner when engineering this platform. And because of that, we can truly offer some great benefits. We can see up there, we have UZP Advisor. UZP Advisor is basically VxRail Manager's version for Hitachi. So what this does is give you all those same push-to-click benefits that you see from VxRail Manager, but you do not require the same Enterprise Plus licensing and the specific Dell support that you're required to run on your VMware licensing. This brings a lot of benefits to the table to offer you more flexibility when it comes to VMware licensing in your environment. And beyond that, also the same virtualization benefits. If you want to use our gear to virtualize other existing investments in your floor, you can do that. It doesn't matter if it's Pure, HP, you name it. We can virtualize it just like VMware can virtualize a lot of the hardware that we use day in and day out. Moving forward, I know that there's a lot up on screen that we've discussed, but I want to let you know that it's not just things that we throw up on here on screen. It's more than that. These are some of the more regarded organizations out there in the world today that we go to for best of breed technology so that we can work with those in our organizations. And here, I want us to focus on the left, on Gartner's 2022 leader for primary storage critical capabilities. That's a very strong one for anybody looking at storage. And we have been consecutively the leader there for, I believe, 4 years in the running now. And 2023 still not up there, but this is just a number of the awards that we've received across the years. There's more, but it shows how truly tested and trusted our technology is by many organizations across the world, including some of these peer review organizations. A lot of the advantages that we bring to the table, again, are based on the fact that we work on almost every vertical and geo that you can think of. So we're building IT for those OT needs to power businesses all across the world. This makes us more like you than any vendor out there. We're happy to be cloud agnostic and work with the technologies that you're working with today and tomorrow, day in, day out. You can truly count on us for rock solid reliability to keep your lights on every single day. When I talk about lights, and I cannot stop or move forward without saying something a little bit about our technology when it comes to electricity and power consumption. Sustainability is a trend in today's conversation around the world, that be in the US or abroad. But I want us to focus on what it really means to focus on sustainability. Sustainability means cost-saving activities. What that boils down to in Hitachi strategy is engineering. Our power supply units powering our hardware is designed by Hitachi Energy, another one of our organizations. The amount of R&D and engineering built into our power supplies have allowed us to produce technologies that are 40% more power efficient than others out there. What this, again, boils down to is savings. This is just a small example of what we've done for our local customer here in the US. $1.4 million worth in savings all came from electricity savings, CO2 emissions, and footprint reduction. So co-locations, cooling needs, you name it, we can work to get you to a better position with those costs so that you have more budget released to work on other projects that might be important for your organization. But that's not it. We've got a lot more in store than just our eco-friendly infrastructure. And here is where I want to bring in a colleague of mine, Camila, to tell you a little bit about our story beyond just the storage platforms and what we do on this side of the IT house.
Perfect. Thank you, Fabian. And hi to everybody. Thank you for attending today. My name is Camila Wiesinger, and I'm another account manager here at Hitachi. So thank you, Fabian, for reviewing all of the offerings that Hitachi is able to provide. What I want to do now is talk about, we have this data, and like Fabian mentioned, it's growing exponentially every day. So what are we going to do with the traditional data management infrastructure that we have today? Is it going to hold us back because of the complexity and the high operational costs? Or are we going to find ways to be able to really understand the data that we have? And the goal here that Hitachi has taken into our hands is to really find a way to automate this. So Lumada is the way that we can automate this for you by decreasing the complexity and lowering the cost as well. So what does that look like today? How do we automate this data that we have? And the way that we do this is, we take a look at what are we using today for surveillance and camera solutions. A lot of the common conversations we're having with our customers, really go into, for example, retail, traffic, healthcare, government agencies. How do we use the data that we're storing from our surveillance cameras? In retail, we can use this to prevent theft in stores, damage in traffic. We're able to use this by managing parking times, being able to give the fees and the tickets to those who park longer than they've paid for, capturing license plates. In healthcare, we had a patient share with us that they were spending over $400,000 a week just having text babysit patients who aren't able to leave their bed because they didn't have the technology to do this. With our LiDAR technology, they were able to save that money. And again, with government agencies, we have agencies using this technology and have the notification set that the cameras will focus on a specific angle or sound detection where they can, really have the footage that they need whenever there's explosions or fires or anything like that, and have the ability to manage that information and let the correct people be notified immediately. And the best part of all of this is our visualization suite provides a single pane of glass to manage everything. It can be, as small as a dirty bathroom and notifying the janitor, hey, it's time to come clean this up, to as big as an explosion or a fire and being able to tell the police, the firefighters to come right away. We also have a geospatial map that allows you to track activities being managed. So we can pull in the camera feeds, turn cameras to certain spaces, like I mentioned, or assign standard procedures that can pull different protocols, from alerting the janitor to calling in police, fire, rescue teams, whatever you need. And I know a lot of you, if I asked you and if you were able to raise your hands, how many of you have kids, right? Most of you would probably raise your hands. And if you don't have kids, then you at least have something that you would like to do on the weekends, aside from checking your mailbox. Well, we have a mobile app that allows you to do this. So you can see how easy it is to access all this information right from your phone. You can be at a soccer game, you can be, if you like to grill on the weekends and have access to all of these notifications live for all of your data that you're trying to manage wherever you are. Now, like Fabian mentioned, Hitachi is a large corporation, and we've been developing this because of the needs that we see in our customers. And we're proud to say that we're trusted by some of the largest organizations, but also the local organizations that we work with. We have over 2,500 customers globally, and you can see, like Fabian mentioned, we are in every industry. Now, some local examples of customers who are using this technology today. The first one I want to share with you is the Austin Police Department. So they're a loyal customer of ours, and they're using our video surveillance technology to really implement their high activity location and observation program by proactively monitoring the cameras for crime in real time. The police department chose to use the entire Hitachi suite. Like Fabian mentioned, however, we are not, we are vendor agnostic, and so we can work with you however you need us to work with you. We also have a local independent school district here in Houston, and they already have their camera solutions. So they're going to be using Hitachi for their storage and analytics abilities. And so really, however you want us to work with you, we can do that. And at the end of the day, like I mentioned, right, the goal is to decrease the complexity, lower cost, and make this easy for you to manage so that you can really get the most out of your data. So at the end of the day, we're generating aging and enormous amounts of data, and it's important for us to understand how to manage it and be able to use the data that we have. So I'll pass it along to Mike from Backup Technologies, and he'll be able to dive a little bit deeper.
Mike, I believe you're muted.
How's that better? Man, well, you just missed something. I was talking, it was really good stuff too. So essentially I was saying data backup technology, we've been doing data backup really for about 17 years, but as backup has converged, so is our business. We work a lot in data analytics, storage as a service, cloud protection. As I mentioned, I mentioned this earlier when I was on mute. I'm going to go pretty quick because I'm conscious of everybody's time here, and I know we're running a little bit long. We're fully accredited, lots of accreditations. What I want to talk about is how Hitachi Content Platform and the changing rule of unstructured data and having all your data stored in one place can really start to change the game. Video surveillance, as we mentioned earlier, generates a lot of data. It also generates a lot of time, right? So if you're recording 10, 12 hours a day video times 1,000 cameras, nobody can gain insights from that on their own. That's where the machine learning comes in, right? So in order to use that, it needs to be combined with other data points. So that's where the Hitachi Content Platform comes in. It allows you to have your video stored, and you can store in different tiers of data. But along with that, let's just say you want to have your point of sale synced up with it. So you can see traffic patterns, trace that to your point of sale systems, and modify that to gain insights into heat maps of your shopping. Compare that with parking lots. All of this stuff is possible when you have a centralized data point. Historically, and we still go into a lot of businesses today, they may have 500 cameras, and they may be in 8 different storage pools or 20 different storage pools. Traditionally, surveillance has been its own island of data, and we need to change that because really there's a lot of insights into video that you can translate across all of your operations, whether it's operational technology on the management floor, on the manufacturing floor, or in some cases, like I said, the point of sale systems, smart cities, street lights, congested areas, watching heat maps for events and concerts. All of that kind of stuff can be done, but not if it's just used as a traditional sort of storage platform. I'm going to talk about a a large supermarket chain, 1,200 stores, and as you can imagine, 1,200 locations, thousands of cameras, but 1,200 different backup solutions, different policies, different management. All of those islands of data were each localized to the store, no centralized intelligence off of them. What we were able to put in place with HCP is a centralized cloud storage where we can take a gateway appliance and keep the data they need locally, but have it all centralized where it can be analyzed, monitored, analytics can be picked up. A lot of the stuff that Camilla spoke about can be done here where we can do analysis of the data, find patterns that humans aren't going to find, which stores are doing better, what layouts are doing better. And you can only do that when you have a centralized solution. And what this allows us to do also is when it's in the HCP platform, it's immutable and it's self-protecting. So you're setting up policies that are going to do the data backup, data protection. So what we end up with is we are eliminating the slow, error-prone manual processes, and we're enabling insights into that data where it can be linked up with the point of sale systems at the store, the checkout aisles, the restocking, anything that's going on there, we can look at that and compare those data points across everything. I'm going to talk about another one. Here's a large Midwestern city and county where they opted for a Hitachi content platform as a service. They needed a flash accelerated cloud tier. They needed immutable copies, and they're using Milestone. We're able to put a plugin in there that allows them to keep what's necessary locally, but automatically archive that to HCP. That gives them built-in ransomware protection because it's on the HCP immutable platform with the data integrity, chain of custody is built in, all the audit logs that are built into the foundation of the HCP. We're able to transform, modernize, and give them insights with disaster recovery, but also AI and appliances like that. One of the things that we do is Hitachi works with a lot of amazing and extremely large companies. One of the roles we do is we take their playbook that they've developed for these large organizations, and we're able to make that, translate that into companies that maybe aren't quite as big. Something like this, maybe 3,000 cameras and, compared to 10 or hundreds of thousands of cameras. And we're able to do that with a big efficiency, with give them the advantage of multiple data centers, but really customized to what they need. I'm going to give this back to Frank, and he can kind of close it out. I know I went quick, but I'm trying to be careful of your time.
That's okay, Mike. Thank you very much. And again, thank you for all our attendees. We hope you found the session beneficial. We've covered a bunch of things. We started with why do video surveillance? What are the advantages? What it requires, because video surveillance generates tons and tons of data. What are the benefits of some of that data and mining that data, and how can you put it to use rather than just collect it and let it sit there? And of course, the tools that you need to do that kind of analysis. We're trusted partners that you can count on. And if you I'm looking at questions, I don't see any Q&A in the queue right now, but if anybody's got any questions as you think about this, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. And once again, thank you for tuning in and giving us some of your time this afternoon.